There was actually a follow-up interview with dev1ce recently. So again, the big story last time was that esports. we got it.
Just play it in the server. Stop fucking hitting us with this media offensive.
It's not happening, dude. It's not happening.
It's too much. Come on.
So fucking dev1ce comes out. So he addresses the claims that he was a check stealer, i.e. that he may have been getting paid by NIP this entire time that he was on the bench. And so he comes out straight up, just doesn't beat around the bush and just says that NIP haven't paid me any salary for the entirety of 2022. So it's good on him at least to come out and try and put some of that speculation to rest and kind of take the heat off of NIP. I mean, the obvious follow-up joke is, okay, so then was it like the Swedish tax agency that was paying you? Because, you can get up to like 80% of your salary for a certain period of time or whatever if you're on a sick leave or whatever. So obviously, the follow-up jokes are that is it the taxpayer that should be mad at you and not just NIP? But him coming out and actually just straight up saying like, listen, that's not what was happening with NIP, and that NIP didn't get screwed over in that fashion, at least. I.e., they didn't have to they didn't have to pay him a salary for sitting on the bench. That was definitely something that we were wondering about. I never thought so, because I mean, like, it's not like dev1ce is broke. It's not like he needs the money. He's got metric shitloads of money. So I never thought that he was actually going to be like screwing the org over in that way. But it is good of him to kind of clear the air at least.
Yeah, but the problem with that is like there's two elements. One, as you say, if you just the key thing with pros in the modern day is they're still not very good at lying. Like they'll always give themselves away. So as you say, he didn't put Semmler. I received no money during the time I was in it.
There's still the out.
Like you said, he gave himself the legal out of like, I didn't receive any from NIP. Like, okay, then let's play the next round of the game. Did you receive salary from someone not NIP? Oh, now you've asked the correct question. Like, was he a fucking shit like mini boss in some RPG in the 90s?
Is it. That is the question.
Am I on floppy disk 2 now? Like, let's see if I can solve dev1ce's tricksy riddle to enter his realm, the next arena. Like, give me a fucking break. So, like, yeah, there's that already. And then the other part, here's the part I don't like. Is why add this part, Semmler, if there was nothing to do with any of this? If this was just a misunderstanding, why add this sentence where he goes, regardless of this, in totally unrelated news, I do feel like people shouldn't be criticised for receiving sick pay if they're unwell. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting unrelated opinion to throw in there. Because the real question, actually, by the way, this is a way bigger topic. Like, Semmler, if NIP, the org, depending on what country they're in, chooses to pay someone salary even though the player doesn't play, that's on NIP the org, in my opinion, in which case you can debate it, but ultimately, do they want to waste the money or not? It's up to them what they want to do with their money. The joke, Semmler, is it's actually a way bigger topic of should the government potentially pay someone's like sick pay and for how long when they're a fucking video game player. You know what I mean? Like, are we missing something here? This is one thing, Semmler, I actually found really distasteful about the whole online era. And by the way, guys, I'll always be calling it the online era because there was nothing outside of human action that made everyone have to go online. There wasn't anything that forced people to, and I will never buy into that narrative. So in the online era, Semmler, do you remember a massive scandal in esports? It wasn't a scandal because no one knew if the industry'd survive. Is that loads of giant companies like Team Orgs with valuations of hundreds of millions got those PPP loans in America and the UK, etc. They just took those loans
as well. Actually, took 370,000 PPP loans just to pay salary or some shit like that. It's like, homie, you guys were defrauding people and you're taking PPP money. Like, what the fuck?
Because that's one thing I don't like, mate. It's one thing if it's just like, this guy's ill and needs to earn a living. Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, this guy's a video game player and he doesn't feel like playing this month. Well, probably shouldn't get paid then. No, but we're going to give him all the money from the taxpayer. Like, oh, well, brilliant. That's better then. Like, what? How is that just a minor issue to some people? By the way, I think that's mental myself. Like, that's where I actually wish esports was real. Like, why is there not a podcast of like Scandinavian people? Like, should we run a society this way? That'd be really interesting. That would be a great topic, right?
Part of this, it is a common thing to get burnt out. Like Swedes getting burnt out when they work in the tech jobs. Like I've heard of people taking time off like up to 6 months or whatever and getting like a portion, not full salary, but a portion of it.
I'd love to be the guy in like Ethiopia working a fucking stand selling like G-Rolls. Like, I'm a bit burned out. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, brilliant. What a world we live in Scandinavia.
It's the advantage of living in the first world, I guess, right? But the question is, okay, does that scale? Like, how much of your salary are you? Because dev1ce is getting paid. He must have one of the highest salaries in CSGO. So that's the question, I guess. It's like if you're getting paid 80% of what, like $3,000 a month or something, when it's like, okay, we can have that discussion. If you're getting paid 80% of 30 grand a month, it's like, And that's coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. It's like, oh man, I don't know. This is where it starts getting a little iffy. But again, the thing is that we can't, we don't know. There's no way to check that information. And so there's no way to know whether or not, unless somebody were to come forward and actually reveal that information, it's like you can't actually go and check that sort of thing. So we're once again left with a bit of speculation. I guess we can lay one thing to rest is that, at least we know it's not Nip. It may be the Swedes. Maybe that was device as a Dane. He was just spitting in the Swedes' eyes, being like, hey, fuck you, Svenski. I'm not taking their money.
Semmler, here's the obvious joke, but I'll bring it back anyway. Shout out to Device. One, for obviously winning that great battle for his people historically. And two, reintroducing the concept of Dane Geld. You have to pay him every month so he fucks off.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Think about that for the Danes. That's the one for you guys. This guy went to the heart of Sweden to literally what in esports terms would be Swedish esports royalty, and he taxed those motherfuckers, gave him nothing back, then just fucked off. Joke's on them, innit? That's a win for you guys, the Danes. He gave them the old Pacy. There you go. By the way, just because I have to do it on this show, it's one thing we love to do. In that statement that was about Device being a check stealer, my favourite character, now that Nicken and Lieholm's gone, is obviously Casper Thid, who on this show, I won't say it's cleverly, we nicknamed Casper Shit. Again, I said it's not clever, it's just funny, that's all. Childish and funny. So Casper Thid, director of sports at Astralis, said this, and are you ready? This is amazing. Because just get ready to have your brain well and truly fucked. Because this guy, all he does is fuck your mind and gaslight you. That's all he does all day long. He has no other function. Get ready for the quote. He goes, in regards to Device, I am very pleased to see how he has immediately become a central part of the team, contributing with everything we hoped for. His game sense, skills, and pure personality has been very obvious from day one. But even though we're all eager for him to play, right, so wait a second. So, guys, he's immediately become a central part of the team, but he won't be playing this year or in the team that's playing at this tournament. So, as a result, he's in no context a central part of the team. But don't worry, even though he's not playing Semmler, his skills are still really obvious from day. What are you talking about? Why is this guy just permanently gaslighting and fucking your mind? Like, he just won't even give it a break when he's fucking mental, this guy. He's so fucking mental.
It's all about the PR spin, man. Yeah, hey, they're a publicly traded company, actually. That Q the Astralis Group share price. Check real quick. Share price. Oh, they've gone back up again a little bit. 0.01 increased. Back up to 2 Danish crowns per share from 1.95. A little bit of a rally around maybe the team getting their asses handed to them 16-1. Well, actually, I don't see how you would improve your share price because of that. But they are struggling a little bit at the Eastboo event. But then again, 2 stand-ins at the Eastboo event, so I guess we can cut them a little bit of slack there. But
I don't think I will. I think I'll cut no slack.
No slack? No slack?
No more slack.
No slack. Fuck them.
Exactly. Hey, they chose to kick config. I didn't make them do that. So enjoy it. Get fucked.
Fuck the dance.
And also because I'll bring it up again, it's the stupidest part of all. Dude, right, think about this for a second, Semmler. Vitality literally did bring through young players like Nevera and Misuta and Kyoji and put them into their team in the real starting lineup and work them into rotation. Mouse, by the way, took 3 fucking academy players and went to the semis of the major, right? When Astralis brings in their academy players, why do their academy players suck every time? Is anyone else missing this? This is the org that has presented themselves as the geniuses who understand how to develop Counter-Strike talent. They've never fucking done it. They're garbage. They're just all PR again.
Yeah, they literally inherited the best roster and then just lived off of that hype for forever. Built the entire org off of it. So no getting around it. But I mean, rubber's meeting the road now, man. Like they've got nothing. They've got no share value, so they've got nothing to play with there. They have to come up with something. They have to come up with some results. Pressure is on now to actually do something about this. So at least they've got Device on the roster now. I guess we'll see where they go from there. All right. So that settles the miscellaneous news.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.